Comic play coming out of Seether, who's spawning in the top right-hand position as the Orange Terran.
And his opponent, the ever-vigilant Sasquatch, who, for those who didn't get to see it earlier, said he is trying his hardest to make this as short of a cast as possible. So shame on you, sir. Some scumbag Sasquatch spawning for Team Complexity as the Pig Zerg in the lower left corner of Antigua Shipyard. All one breath.
How much wood could a woodchuck chuck?
For real though, honestly, there have been some beautiful games today. I mean, Sasquatch showing his Zerg prowess, Exo fighting hard, but just being shut down at every turn. Thank you, both players, both teams involved. And I'm saying this not because I'm hoping it's the last game, but because it is potentially the last game, as this is a best of 9, folks. So Sasquatch is looking towards to take that 5-1 victory. But I think everyone in chat, plus both the casters, are rooting here for XO's Seether.
Yeah, and a big, huge thanks as well to our sponsors at Six Pole Gaming. They are really investing a ton in making this event as awesome as possible and are kind of the reason that games like this are possible. And so definitely check out their website if you're trying to improve your game. If you sign up, pay a small subscription fee, you get really detailed videos telling you kind of individual parts of StarCraft that you might be struggling with and guides from pro players on how to handle that most effectively. So definitely check them out. They are pretty much the reason this event can happen.
And a real quick shout out for ourselves here, guys. Map Control, Base Trade TV is the Twitch channel, obviously, that you're watching on. This is our StarCraft brand. Map Control is the new casting organization we're all part of. There's a League of Legends branch, so if any of you guys like that, we're going to have some League of Legends casts coming for you soon, hand in hand with all these StarCraft games. So make sure to like our Facebook page, follow our Twitter if you want to keep up to date with events. And I can tell you guys, if you're StarCraft fans, we definitely have some awesome stuff coming in the next couple of weeks. So be sure to come back, check it out, and tune in.
Ooh, and check this out from Seether, though, as the game is already getting off to an awesome start. He's just going, you know what, CC first. He definitely wants to take this to a bit of a later game.
And it's funny because for those who don't know, they had to talk about this before the game started. Sasquatch talking about how 10 pool easily counters CC first. So I guess Seether kind of calling his bluff, saying, alright, bring it on.
Yeah, instead going for the 15 pool, which is like a 10 pool, but 5 supply later.
And Sasquatch as well, just taking that early hatchery. Pool, everything pretty standard, nothing a lot to be commented on.
I am curious, though, if Sasquatch is going to take that early gas again, because we saw him snag that pretty quickly when he decided to go for the cheese build. And it might definitely be an indication that there are a lot of Dem Roaches incoming, or even just a lot of Zerglings, I mean, until the barracks, and there will probably be a second barracks coming up pretty soon just for defense. Until those are finished, it's not easy to fend off really anything that the Zerglings might be doing.
I would have loved to see one person today counter cheese, or I say cheese in quotes, Sasquatch for that 10 pool earlier, but I don't think we're going to see anything quite so lucky. Now the best part about this opening for Seether, this is a very much more standard Terran opening. By CCing first, you can get those Banshees and those Hellions out at about the same time, but you're going to have a much better economy than as we saw last game.
Mm-hmm. And he did, instead of going for an additional barracks, snag the double refineries, and so we'll certainly be going for a quick factory, and then almost certainly followed up by the quick Banshees, as you were saying.
It's a matter of catching Sasquatch off guard, because I mean the reason Hellion Banshee works so well is because even if you know it's coming, it's difficult to get the Spore Crawlers up in time. It's difficult to have a layer with an Overseer so your Queens can shoot the Cloaked Banshees. It's not something easy to counter, not to mention the fact that it's followed up quite often by Mech.
I absolutely love the Hellion Banshee opening as well, just because if you miss control on one half of it, where, for example, you have like Hellions and the natural Banshee going into the main, you lose so much so quickly that it's just really punishing. And that's a great thing to do if you feel like you have superior multitasking to your opponent and just try to force them into a bad position.
Take back everything we just been talking about, though, because there are 2 more barracks being placed down right now. So we will most likely see some nice Hellion harass, but this will be followed up with more bio situated strategy.
Yeah, he is going to be swapping it over relatively quickly as soon as that barracks has finished up that reactor, and yes, there we go. But yeah, as you were saying, probably instead going to be using the gas for upgrades, making 2 Hellions just for a bit of map control, and he's also keeping an eye on his opponent's third base, which he did see go up.
Yeah, I know we're in the middle of the game, but to immortalize these fans forever, we have Raw, Mill, Penguin, SC2, Firehawk, Nixon, and Tired Miner being bosses in chat right now, so thanks for tuning in, guys.
Oh, is this going to be a Marauder Hellion? all in. He does throw down. No, actually, that was a reactor. Totally missed seeing that. Never mind. It's just going for more standard bio play.
Two tech labs, though, not something you often see, so this might actually be Marauders.
Well, he does already have one on the way, and is snagging both upgrades, getting the stim pack and the combat shield. So certainly does look like a timing, even if it isn't actually the kind of traditional Marauder Hellion all in.
Well, these Hellions are moving out. They're going to scout the creation of this third. And a quick comment, guys, if you guys want to see any of our VODs, they will not be located here on Twitch. They will be on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/mapcontrolco. So make sure to check that stuff out. We will have these uploaded later today, all the games played tonight. And Spinecrawler going down. These Hellions, of course, no match for it. They just don't have the damage.
Yeah, he's trying to deny the creep as much as possible. Do it a little bit right there, but really, with a combination of these queens and that Spinecrawler, Sasquatch is already getting quite good coverage.
And there's quite a few Marauders on the field. These will quickly deal with any sort of roaches that may come in his way, but more importantly, take out that Spinecrawler very quick.
And the stim pack is about a little bit more than halfway done, and so a bunch of stim Marauders are one of the scariest things to fight early game. They deal with a lot of Zerg units just very effectively. Really, kind of mass Zergling is the only answer that is really effective, and obviously Hellions deal very well with that, as it looks like there is a bit of an attack moving out. Brilliantly timed Zergling Scout, though, immediately spots it coming.
I love the position that Sasquatch has set up at home. He's put the Spinecrawler out in the middle, out in the open. 5 Banelings on the way too. There's no way for the Hellions to sneak by.
Yeah, this is really scary for Seether, actually. I mean, he only needs a couple of Baneling hits, and a lot of his army will just evaporate. The splash damage, even though it doesn't deal any bonus damage against Marauders, Marauders cluster up so tightly, does a nice job softening them up, and threatens Hellions quite a bit as well.
Fire cheese.
Fire cheese?
You'll understand later. We see the Hellions moving up here, trying to poke at these queens, but there's a lot of them. They have energy for transfuses. Zerglings swarming in from behind, and here come the Banelings! Absolutely annihilating those Hellions. That light armor taking all that extra damage, but the Marauders and the Marines still stand, and that is the force to be reckoned with. However, 2 Banelings still trying to move up here. Oh, and all these Marines are so low, and those 4 Queens somehow surviving that onslaught. No transfuses used, and just continuing to happily spread creep.
Behind this, though, the command center has just about finished up from Seether, though, so he's definitely not intending that to be an all-in attack, just wanting to put a lot of pressure on his opponent. Honestly, though, I don't think that he put as much pressure as he was really hoping. All 4 queens staying alive, immediately replenishing the creep that had been diminished, and honestly, most of the units that were lost were units that Zerg doesn't really care that much about anyway, Zerglings and Banelings.
But looking back at home, we do have 2 medevacs on the way. We've got a considerable amount of Marines and Marauders, and those tech labs are starting that 1-1 upgrade. Bunkers already being thrown down with supply depots, but with a Spire on the way, we could see some very easy Mutalisk harass. And look at this. I mean, a 4th base. Antigua is known as that map you don't get a 4th on, but Sasquatch saying, you know what? Why the hell not? I'll just go up here instead of the middle of the map.
Trying to see if he can hold that will be a critical thing. Also, I really hope the Zergling's going to the top left to patrol for drops, and that's exactly what it is doing. Sasquatch, you are a boss, sir. Because really, that's one of the easiest ways to shut this base down, is to do a big push through the middle and just simultaneously drop it. And it's so hard to have the right force allocation to deal with both threats at the same time, and one of the easiest ways to do that is to just have a Zergling hanging out so you know what's coming.
Yeah, we do have this Terran army trying to position around the map, but I mean, those Banelings were just so precise and perfect early on. If those Hellions had lived, that could have been a completely different story. But looking at the unit count right now, I mean, there's 42 Zerglings swarming the field, there's 6 Mutalisks on the way, and 24 more Zerglings, so I mean, it's going to be difficult. Seether just doesn't have the unit count right now to deal with this. However, with a couple Siege Tanks added to his army, that splash damage will be precisely what he needs.
Yeah, the siege tank count will be critical in these upcoming engagements. He does have an armory on the way as well. He will want to start those weapons upgrades for his tanks as fast as possible so that they're one-shotting Zerglings and Banelings, trying to deal that 35 damage. Right now, the Mutalisks are trying to go around and get something done. There are already missile turrets in place, though. The armory is in a nice position to be harassed, though.
That one missile turret will not be enough. Is this not... Oh, actually just going to drive Sasquatch back, but... he can poke around wherever he wants, take out these reactors. Killing the tech structures is huge. 6 Marines rallying forward here.
Yeah, and so far Caesar's actually doing a pretty good job responding to this. He does have his third base up and running, pretty well protected. It's a nice spread on all of his units, so I don't think this harassment
Oh
will do very
wow,
much, and
and a
Banelings will be
fifth.
kind of challenged too.
And a fifth coming down. This is pretty mighty and bold of Sasquatch. But you know what? Every game he's played today, he's taken that early fifth and sixth base. Oh, sorry, fourth and fifth. My bad. Can't count.
He'll probably be taking a sixth one after this too. He's
I would
definitely
not be
going into that
surprised.
macro mode.
He's got
that,
the map
works
control
so
to
well
take.
for him.
He could take this middle base if you wanted. Look how much creep spread is here. Look at the Overlord spread on the map. There's no way for Cedar to really get that control back. And oh, this turret might burn down. Nope, does have SCVs get there in time. But
yeah,
I mean,
but right now, Seether is approaching that 200-200
Seether-
army, which can be
oh, no.
really, really difficult to deal
Senex.
with just Mutiling Bling.
look at the map vision of Seether right now. He has no idea that the creep spread is already 3/4 across the map, that there's a fourth, that there's a fifth. He's really got to do something soon, or he will find himself very far behind and not know why.
Well, there's a big move out coming, but as you were saying, I mean, trying to engage directly onto creep is just so scary. Everything moves so quickly
And these
on there,
Banelings
and you
do
have such
speed.
great vision that
Baneling plus speed plus creep is faster than Stim, so it's going to be really difficult. Seether's going to be forced to fight. There's no
I don't
running
think that
away.
he can fight here. I really think he
Oh,
needs to
and look at this spread.
He has to get out.
Sasquatch coming in from every angle possible right now.
Oh man, if
Many
you're watching a
Banelings.
single player campaign mission, just so much devastation. As you just see the supply drop by like 50 in a moment for Seether, and
And-
more Banelings on the way.
I don't know what kind of remaxing potential Seether has, but Sasquatch sitting so close to 200-200, and Seether this whole time stuck.
There's
just
a nice drop though going down at the fourth base. It looks like the Zergling was not able to do a spotting job. Bad Zergling, no biscuit.
But really didn't lose too many workers for that cost. And even if he did, he's got a bank going right now, 1,200 minerals.
Yeah, and also moving
So
up
many
to
Banelings.
Hive Tech.
This is dirty. It's so annoying to deal with Banelings. You don't have force fields like Protoss. You gotta rely on the siege tank fire, and if you're misfiring and you're not focusing down those Banelings, there's no way to deal with that.
Doesn't need a lot of siege tanks to do it. I mean, right now there's only 4 on the field, and that's just not going to be enough against 26 Banelings. Ooh, nice pickup on this drop harassment as well. These Mutalisks just immediately coming in and
So many of
picking
them.
that off.
91 Zerglings on the field, 26 Banelings, 20 freaking Mutalisks! I mean, it doesn't even matter what Seether has. He's going to be hard-pressed to hold this no matter what he does. And oh no, this dropship is going to get caught. It needs to get to the missile turret in time. All the Mutalisks are swarming in. But 1-2 missile turrets will not save him. A Thor valiantly trying to get up here to do that splash damage. But the problem is Seether's harass is being shut down. He needs to get a drop-off. He needs to poke at Sasquatch and put him on the defensive. But none of that is happening, and Sasquatch taking the middle base. Happily and contently.
Yeah, he's up to 6 bases right now. Already has a massive bank in place. And I mean, right now he's going for Ultralisk Cavern, Adrenal Glands, 3/3 upgrades, and the Greater Spire, and another base all at the same time. I mean, you can't possibly be more comfortable than this as a Zerg player.
I would love
And
to
I'm
see... Oh
making
no, look at the main right now. Mutalisk coming in, just
1 Banelings.
taking out that missile turret in one fell swoop. It's taking out the reactors, and it's going to go for the tech labs next. And there's nothing Seether can do with this. Marines are choked out.
And honestly, even losing some Mutalisks is a good thing for him. He's trying to replace them with higher tech units, just not losing too many.
Oh, but
all
here
at
come the
once. However,
Banelings swarming in. There's not enough buildings out here to create that choke that he was trying to do. Siege tank, siege, but there's just so many Banelings as they roll into the Terran army. And everything just turning into green goo. However, Seether does retain a fair amount of units out of that trade. But as Senex said, he is remaxing on better units. We have Ultralisks coming next. But Seether,
Unfortunately, though, there are no infestors on the field. So much gas was spent in trying to make that attack work that right now there's just a whole bunch of Zerglings and Ultralisks on the way. And don't get me wrong, Zerglings and Ultralisks, particularly with 3/3 upgrades and all of the kind of bells and whistles, Adrenal Glands, Carapace, are amazing
but
units.
Senex,
But you need infestors to lock your opponent in place for maximum efficiency.
look at the amount of Zerglings coming on the field right now. We've got no siege tanks. He has no splash damage to deal with that, and not enough medevacs
Oh,
to
that's
heal
true.
this Marines.
Yeah, only 1.
In fact, just looking, we have 68 Zerglings, 5 Ultralisks. This is going to be a hard army for our Terran player to break, but he definitely has the potential if he can get a good engage. In fact, dropping here on the 4th again, picking off so many drones.
Unfortunately, loading up with all of the Mutilis hanging out right there, though, and boom, there it is, 10 supply already lost when you're behind your opponent. That's just such a
Oh, and
bad place
Seether
to be.
is forced to long-distance mine right now, so there's just too much creep. He can't even get a command center over.
While this army is completely spread out.
Oh,
My
but
God,
here come the Banelings again!
And immediately, once again, the army just evaporating for Seether.
Oh,
and an instant
no.
remax from Sasquatch.
He's had the bank for so long, but with the loss of those reactors, he can't produce the units to remax off this.
Yeah, a bunch of barracks constructed in the middle, trying to get some kind of just choke points set up, but I honestly don't feel like Sasquatch units care. They're just marching right in.
Sasquatch should just be renamed to A Move, because that's really all he's been doing all game. And it's been working for him. He is somehow driving these Ultralisks back. See, they're definitely holding, but these Mutilisks, they do pick off that command center.
Wow, yeah, this is just... I don't know, man. We're right now at 120 supply against 192, and honestly, we haven't seen Sasquatch supply drop for more than about 5 seconds at a time.
To Seether's credit, though, he's still in the game. And it doesn't sound like it's saying a lot, as a lot of his bases are actually fully mined out. This third, really his last income. He's got to be able to secure another base, but look at this creep spread. He still can't land a command center here. This is, if you're going to call Zerg broken, it's not for the queens, it's not for anything else, it's for this dickhole amount of creep that is completely blocking him from getting another base out. And I'm saying this from the loins of rage that is a Terran player within me, because I hate dealing with creep spread.
Well, and with Rifkin's very, very nice, balanced, even commentary that also
Sorry,
his
it just infuriates me.
But no, I do understand what you mean. It can be very frustrating to deal. Once again, I remember Tasteless calling it the Eye of Sauron Zerg, and really that's what it feels like. All of these drops kind of like drop, pick off 2 drones, and then get completely cleaned up. A little bit of cute play trying to pick off a couple of the Banelings, but I mean,
baiting the Banelings out like this is a lot better than losing the Marines en masse later on. And looking back, look at this. This is the way he's created these barracks. It's really difficult for those Ultralisks and the Zerglings to funnel in without going through these chokes.
Of course, here's a move out, though, and I
see,
mean,
they're choosing to move out. I mean, he needs to do it. He needs to secure this base, but the problem is he's going to lose that choke advantage, and he's lost these fights in the middle of the map so many times.
I really feel though like he should move out with a small group of units, clear up the creep, and then try to move in, because this is what happens every time. He moves out aggressively, tanks aren't sieged,
the Ultralisks
gets obliterated.
And again, those Banelings turning the Terran army to green goo. I'm not sure why Sasquatch is backing out. It's just only 2 tanks left. These queens taking a lot of the fire.
Oh, I think that we just saw why 6 Broodlords on the way, and I mean, this is also one of the most dangerous things that a Zerg player can do. They can see that you're going for a very specific army composition to deal with. For example, Ultralisks get a ton of anti-armor things, so they say, okay, I'll just hard switch to air. And unless you already have like 2 or 3
and there's no Vikings
with reactors, it's impossible to deal with.
He's got the potential for it, but there's no Vikings to deal with. You can stim Marines underneath it, but they're just going to get overwhelmed by the rest of the army that we've seen time and time again, especially as these Ultralisks push up the ramp.
Yeah, a very bold bit of positioning right there. Also, siege, unsiege, re-siege, micro going down, but I mean, right now we even see Sasquatch pull back. He knows he has no reason to try to force his way into this when he can just let his Broodlords deal the damage from afar.
And picking up very nice. There's not a lot of ATR. A lot of those Mutilis were turned into Broodlords, but the middle base being denied, and Seether literally has next to no minerals.
Real quick though, Doomdrop on the left-hand side. Doomdrop was able to pick off that 5th base and is now moving into the main with a pretty decent amount of tech.
Actually, there's not even the hive or the lair. Where was that created? In the natural. So, I mean, he's not even going to lose that much here. And Sasquatch
does get the spawning pool, and there is the Ultralisk Cavern there, though. He is forced to pull back before he can get that, though. So definitely a bit annoying, as those are the main units in his opponent's composition.
It's funny, like, I didn't catch this until just now, but the hive was created at the natural, I guess, anticipating drops for later on. That never really made it because of the Mutilisks, but finally inching in there and not doing the damage he wanted, Seether got to be a little frustrated. And again, in the middle of the map, this seems to be his kill zone. Every time he fights here, he seems to lose pretty badly.
Which is just so unfortunate.
Oh, but stimming underneath the Broodlords.
So
but the Banelings
though,
connecting.
just shutting that down, and Seether's drop play has been brilliant this whole game. He even managed to pick